All right, good evening, everybody. Welcome to tonight's training call. My name is Wayman. I have the esteemed privilege and the pleasure of hosting the call. Trying to figure out the lighting here. Give me 1 second. All right, what is happening here? All right, it's a little better there. Good evening, guys, and thank you so much for joining us tonight. Please state where you're calling from, your name and where you're calling from. We're going to get started in just a few minutes here.
Nina Moore from Ardmore, PA.
Hello, Mr. Moore. How are you?
I'm amazing.
All right, glad to hear.
Arnita the Shield from Philadelphia.
Hey, Arnita, how are you?
I'm great, thank you.
All right, glad to hear.
From Patterson.
Oh, this look good around town.
I believe that was Patty McCoy from Patterson. Hey, Patty, how are you?
Hey, good.
Jasmine Park, Syracuse, New York.
Oh, look
Jasmine, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, guys. We understand that you could be anywhere tonight, and we appreciate you all taking the opportunity to come and get some nuggets to make sure that you are being the best, but not only being the best, doing your best in your business so that we can ensure that the next 6 months are the best 6 months of the year, all right?
Okay.
All right, so if you have not already, please grab a pen and a piece of paper. We're going to share some information with you from one of our amazing leaders, Mr. Jarrod Wilkins. He's going to do a training tonight for you. So if you are looking at the individuals that are currently on the phone, if you know any of your success partners that need to dial in, ensure that they steal away. Listen, I understand the sacrifice. I'm actually at a barbecue and had to make the necessary arrangements to be in a quiet place so that I can get this information, because we've heard and we were taught that the best earned teams are the best learned teams. So we appreciate all of the leadership that is on the team and that we're under. And we're going to get some amazing nuggets tonight that'll help launch our business and even relaunch our business and take it to the next level over the next 6 months. If you have just joined us, please feel free to tell us where you're calling in from, your name and where you're calling in from.
Hi, Paris Little from Philadelphia.
Hey, Paris, good evening. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Hey, it's Felicia from Baltimore, Maryland.
All right, Felicia, awesome. I love that. We have DMV area, Florida, North Jersey.
Hi, I'm Sizer, Philadelphia.
Hey, how are you? Good evening.
Hi, good to see you.
Good to see you as well.
Good evening. It's Marguerite Faison from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Good evening, Marguerite. Thank you so much for joining us. Good to see you. Hope you all are having an amazing Memorial Day Sunday. It's been a great start to an amazing weekend, but just imagine what you're going to be able to do leading into the remainder of the weekend as you see family and friends over the next day at barbecues or wherever you may interact with them, or even strangers. And think about the nuggets and the information that you're going to be able to add to your arsenal tonight. I encourage each and every one of you to grab a pen and a piece of paper, get into a quiet place so that you'll be able to absorb all of the information that we're going to give to you tonight. We won't be before you long. We understand your time and we appreciate the sacrifice, but this is the Sunday fun day, as they call it, right? So we're going to show you how to continue to grow your business and give you some information. We have the amazing Mr. Jarrod Wilkins, who's going to give you some information, one of the trailblazers and leaders in our company, as well as on our team. Amazing success partner, father, as well as leader. So we appreciate each and every one of you for joining us tonight. Again, if you have not already, you can feel free to mute your phone or before you do so, tell us where you're calling in from and your name.
Hey, it's Dominique from Philadelphia.
All right, Dom, how are you? Good evening. Thank you so much for joining. Ladies and gentlemen, again, if your success partners are not on the line, please, I encourage you to get them on the line. We want to make sure that you can capture this information, but put it into action and be able to put together a game plan for the next 6 months of the year to allow 2019 to be the best year of your life. We have a mission here to impact over 1,000 families and earn over $100 million in revenue. And I encourage each and every one of you to grab a hold of that, grab a hold of the vision, grab a hold of your dreams and your destiny, and be able to link up with this amazing team and take this information and put it into great use. So I have the privilege of bringing to the line, guys, a leader who has really set the tone and the pace for the organization and the team. Mr. Jarrod Wilkins is a leader, father, a husband, a industry 7-figure earner who has a wealth of knowledge, ladies and gentlemen. Every time he always drops some nuggets. So I encourage each and every one of you to please get to a quiet place. If you have not already, mute your phone. We are going to start right now. Mr. Wilkins, are you on the line?
Absolutely, I'm here. Hopefully you can hear me loud and clear.
I can hear you, sir.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for the introduction. Let me go ahead and mute everybody out and make sure we have a clear, concise call. But I want to welcome everybody onto the broadcast on this auspicious evening. I know we've got obviously the holidays that are coming up for so many of you, Memorial Day weekend, and this is typically the weekend that we set apart here in the United States to really recognize and remember those that gave the ultimate and paid the ultimate sacrifice in terms of freedom in the United States of America. So I want to say congratulations, welcome everybody to the call tonight. This won't be a very, very long call. I did have a couple of things in terms of announcements that I did want to make, and especially as we close out the end of the month of May. We've already been telling you that May is it was going to be absolutely incredible, and it really is. I think in the month of May, we've got so many people that have been really engaged throughout this entire process. Many of them that are just getting started in the business. So congratulations, been doing a lot of 3-ways, a lot of lifelines with many of you that are just getting started in the business. And of course, that's just indicative of really the focus that we have as a team and as leaders within this particular organization. I remember the last time we had a training call very similar to this. I believe we broadcasted it on social media as well, and we talked about with the leaders, the rubies and above. We talked about reinventing yourself and creating by reinventing yourself, which was going to be creating new success stories. And we had that conversation, I believe, in March, and also had it again in April, and we were really drilling down on sowing during the summer months. And so I'm excited that everything that we've talked about, it's all been planned, it's all been methodical, and of course, many of the leaders are seeing it play out now, and you'll see it continue to play out as we close out May, June, and July. Matter of fact, May, because of a lot of what we've planned out and a lot of the events that are taking place, a lot of the things that are happening behind the scenes all over the world, May is actually slated to be our biggest month in sales since we've actually been in the company. This month, we'll close out close to $400,000 in actual sales for the month of May. And it's really indicative of those of us that are really, really applying what we know and really going out here and getting things done in a major way. And so today, I want to come on real quickly and just highlight a couple of things for each and every one of you that are closing out the month of May. Many of you are closing out maybe on Ruby. We always say that Ruby it's the believer's position. You've got to believe your way into Ruby because it takes a certain level of focus. It takes a certain level of commitment. It takes a certain level of determination. So we call Ruby the believer's pin or the believer's promotion. It's $2,000 in volume, but I believe a person that has gotten themselves promoted to Ruby, and they've done it organically. They haven't gone out and purchased the pen or purchased the volume themselves, but they've gone out, built themselves a solid customer base and maybe a small team of people and got promoted to Ruby. These are individuals that are what I call really working on their PhDs. What do I mean by your PhD? A person headed for diamond, okay? You got your PhD, a person headed for diamond. So, Ruby, I know many of you got your eyes set on Ruby for the month of May. And I want to tell you, it's right there. I don't care if you're 500 in volume away. Doesn't matter if you're 700 in volume away. You could be 1,000 in volume away, but Ruby is done this month. And what you've got to do is you have to believe all the way through, because, ladies and gentlemen, belief is a muscle, okay? Belief is a muscle, and it has to be exercised. I never forget hearing that coming up in the profession, that belief is a muscle, that you've got to exercise the belief. And I want to give you this equation. I want you to write this down because it's so important. Needs times faith. This is the equation. Needs times faith plus skill equals success. Needs times faith. See, faith is the multiplier. Faith is the multiplier. Yes, you're going to need to learn some skills, some prospecting skills and presentation skills and being able to follow up and being able to close or ask for the close. Yes, those skills, they're needed. They are in addition to your faith. The faith that you have about the business and where you are in the business, it is the great multiplier. I was doing some numbers today and just kind of taking into account over the last 8 months and giving myself an update as I do every 90 days, every quarter. We track it every month in terms of our percentile of growth and the new customer growth, our new distributor growth, because we're running a business. We look at it every single week. We look at it, we reflect on it every single month. We can see the peaks in terms of what's going on and where the growth is happening throughout the organization. And then we take a quarterly look as well as we pay our quarterly taxes, but we take a quarterly look at the business, and it was amazing to see the millions of dollars in sales that this organization has already produced, and the countless amount of people that have already cleared 6 figures in earnings just in the first 8 months. I mean, there are dozens and dozens of people that have earned some very significant income within this organization in the first 8 months, and it's really a result of planning. And so a couple of things I want to highlight on today. Number one, I talked about this a little earlier during this conversation. I talked about sowing in the summer. Sowing in the summer. See, during the summer months, if you're not aware and if you're not prepared, you can become disenfranchised or disillusioned by what you see. Disenfranchised and disillusioned. What do I mean by that? I want you to write this down, please. Never allow what you see to cause you to forfeit what you heard. I'm going to say it again slowly. Never allow what you see with your physical eyes cause you to forfeit what you heard. Ladies and gentlemen, I can tell you right now, faith, I want you to write this down. Now, faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not yet seen. So many people, they listen or they've heard that scripture for many times in their life, but when are you going to apply it? Now, faith is the substance of the things I'm hoping for. The substance. What's substance? Means that there's something tangible. See, whenever I'm doing a Zoom meeting, whenever I'm doing a one-on-one meeting, whenever I'm doing an in-home meeting, I was talking with Nina Moore earlier, presidential headed for ambassador. She told me, man, we're just finishing out, guess what? An in-home meeting. We're living room legends. She sent me a text, how many people enrolled into it, and she was keeping me posted on what's taking place. Why? That's a part of the substance. Now faith is the substance of things hoped for. What am I hopeful for? That right now, the evidence, there's no evidence to cause, or there's no seen evidence. There's no evidence on the scene. But I don't allow what I see to cause me to forfeit what I've heard. When we talk about our vision, of Project 100 million. See, you've heard the vision. You've heard that vision. You can't allow what you see to cause you to forfeit what you heard. I want every leader, I challenge every leader to really start buying in to that vision. I challenge you to start speaking that vision every single day. Not only that vision, but your vision as well. Why? Because if you really understand what Project 100 million is about, it encompasses what you want. See, Project 100 million is not ambition. See, ambition is about me. Vision is about we, the collective team, the collective group. And it's not just some hype. It's not some happenstance. We're not talking about, oh, we're going to break records. See, all of that is surface. When I talk about Project 100 million, when we start sharing that mantra, and people, you do this at your in-home meetings, you do this on your conference calls, you do this on at your sit-downs. I'm working with a team of people whose vision it is to create $100 million a year in sales within the next 3 years. Why, Jarrod? Because out of that 100 million, 50 million of it will be paid back in the forms of commissions and bonuses to me and my teammates. Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you a question. How much of that 50 million a year do you need coming into your household for you to pursue your life's work, for you to pursue your purpose, for you to answer the call on your life? See, that's what I mean when I talk about not allowing what you see to cause you to forfeit what you heard. I would be remiss if I didn't help you understand how to water the seed of belief. How do I water my faith seed? Ladies and gentlemen, you water your faith seed, write it down please, by your environment. I can tell by the listing of people on the call tonight. See, ladies and gentlemen, it would be easy for us to have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people on the call tonight. All we had to do was promote it on social media. All I had to do is put up a post or make this available for people all around the company, and even in the network marketing, home-based business arena to plug in, and we would have hundreds of people on here. But that's not what this is about. See, I sent it in a group text just to a few key leaders, because the only people that we want to talk to tonight are those of you that are not forfeiting what you've heard. See, we just did a call on Friday, my wife and I. We broadcasted it on social media. That thing has over 4,300 views already. In the first, what's today? Today's Sunday. We did that on Friday, so Saturday, Sunday, and we're talking about in less than 48 hours, it has almost 4,300 views. Why? Number one, write this down. Exposure is everything. Write it down, please. Exposure is everything. The fortune is in the follow-up, and you work with the willing. 3 principles of building. Exposure. We expose the business. Exposure. We're doing more exposures, personal exposures. Remember the last conversation we had with the leaders, we talked about making sure you reinvent yourself by not having what I call repeat conversations about your existing organization. Do we love them? Of course you love them. Of course you invest time with them. Of course you do all those things, but to reinvent yourself, to allow yourself to be in a position where you do not forfeit what you've heard, you've got to reinvent yourself. How do you reinvent yourself? Through new stories. New stories down in depth in your existing team, or new legs of business. New legs, new leaders, new stories. New legs, new leaders, new stories. And so tonight, it's really about those of us that are sowing in the summer. Sowing in the summer. See, the summer season, I love the summer season because this is when the majority of people, watch this, they forfeit what they've heard. And this is not just in on our team. This is not just in the It Works company. This is in direct sales, network marketing, period. Because most people cannot compartmentalize and continue to work on their dream. They can do it with their job. They can do it with their job. See, what happens is this here. During the summer months, Like you can take, for example, right now, Memorial Day weekend is coming up. People are excited. People are fired up. And guess what? You should be. You should enjoy all the barbecue your heart can stand. You should enjoy all the family fun, the activities. I know you're going to be in your swimsuits and yeah, you're going to do it up, and you should. But guess what's going to happen on Tuesday? Many people are going to go back to their jobs. And I'm not down on jobs. You know me. I don't talk down on jobs because jobs allow people to run their auto ship consistently, okay? I'm just kidding. But no, there's nothing wrong with jobs. Jobs allow you to finance your dream, to finance your work. But here's my question for you. On Tuesday, how many people will get back to work? See, I know for a fact the majority of people on Tuesday will get back to the job, but my question for you is, how many people during the summer months will get back to work? Write this down. Your job is what you're paid for. Your work is what you're made for. And I know so many people, they start this type of business on a part-time basis. The majority of us do. There's nothing wrong with that. But the challenge becomes when it's a part-time mindset. And even so, you slip into a sometime mindset. What I'm sharing with you tonight is how to sow in the summer. What causes your faith to be multiplied? Changing your environment. So you've got to get a healthy dose of watering your faith, nurturing your faith. Sometimes you've got to pull away from the individuals that are pulling you and get to an environment where you can be poured into. That's all of us. Anything and everyone that runs needs to be recharged. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't care if you've got an iPhone or any type of smartphone device, Android, iPhone, whatever it is. If you unplug it, it can stay and it will stay running for a certain amount of time. But after it's running, after you're using it, see, it stays running. It stays running longer when you're not using it. But when you start using this device, when you start making phone calls, texting, and posting, and all the things that you do, you start to, watch this, you start to drain the battery. You start to drain the battery. Why? Because it's being pulled. You're pulling data. You're pulling energy. You're pulling the life source out of it. And this is how many of us operate. We're being pulled. Every time you go do a meeting, you're pouring into people. Every time you do a three-way call, you're pouring into people. Every time you prospect and you present and you follow, you're pouring into people. And guess what? Your battery is now going from 100%. Every time you pour, you lose a percentage. Every time you pour, you lose a percentage. Every time you do a meeting, you're losing a percentage. Why? Because I'm pouring a percent of what I believe into somebody else. Are you catching what I'm putting down? Every time I use it, because it's running. Every time I'm pouring in, I'm losing a percentage of my battery because I'm personalizing your pain. Because what's important to you becomes important to me. Your family becomes important to me. And this ain't just stage talk. Check the record. How do I know? How do I know when a leader is pouring? When their battery is running low. And so here's what you have to do. Just like your iPhone and just like your Android phone, after it's been running for a while, because of your experience, this is where experience plays a part. Because of your experience, you understand and you realize all I've got to do is get to a source where I can plug in and recharge. I may be down to my last 20%. And you know when you're down to your last 20%, your green turns to red. Shucks. I'm helping me right now. Your green turns to red. And if you're not careful, you get down, it turns to yellow when you're down to 20%. When you get down to 10% and lower, it turns to red. And you start looking. For those of us that want to keep running, you want to keep running your device. You start looking for where I can charge myself. Do you have? You start asking people around. Do you have an iPhone charger? Do you have a charger? I need to recharge my battery. And sometimes, listen to me, you may be around people, shucks, that don't have the sufficient charge cable for you to plug in your battery. You may be an iPhone user and you're around Android type believers. So I've got to get away from the Android type believers and find a source, an iPhone source, because not every charge or not every cord can charge me back up. I've got to get around the right information. I've got to get around the right people. I've got to get around the individuals that have my answers and not my life questions. And once I do, I simply recharge my battery. What am I saying to you? You need to get around an event. I know there's a major event coming up in Austin. It's already sold out. Many of you are going to be there. You already got your tickets early. I know my wife and I will be there. Why? Because I've got to go get recharged. We're talking about running after $100 million a year business. We're talking about creating $100 million a year organization. I cannot create that by myself, and I can't create it on an empty battery. I've got to go charge back up. We'll be in Austin. I know we're actually doing a part of the training in Austin, but guess what? I can't wait to take my notepads. I can't wait to take my notes with me and take my pen so I can get out and figure out, okay, how have you created $100 million a year business? How have you guys done what you've been able to do? How do you have 10, 15, 20 people in the top 100, top 150 earners in the company? Why did you do this? Why did you keep going? See, when you start asking those types of questions, the why questions, you recharge your battery. See, I'm not only taking my notes, I'm taking my name. What do I mean by taking my name? See, ladies and gentlemen, we've been tricked. We've been bamboozled. We've been hoodwinked. We've been led astray to think and to believe that Louis Vuitton is a successful brand. You've been tricked and perplexed and set aside to believe that not only Louis Vuitton, but Versace is a successful brand, and Louis Vuitton is a successful brand, and Rolls Royce and Lamborghini and Ferrari are successful brands, and Michael Kors is a successful brand. Ladies and gentlemen, those aren't successful brands. Those are successful names. Porsche, that's somebody's name. Versace, that's somebody's name. Mercedes, that's somebody's name. Louis Vuitton, that's somebody's name. We are wearing what we think and what we've been promoted and marketed to as a successful brand, but all it is a successful name. And my question for you is, will your name be called for someone that's going to stay plugged in so you can get recharged? See, the event in Austin, there are tickets, virtual tickets. Let me tell you what I would do if I didn't have a ticket to the main event. I would go buy the virtual ticket. I know it's less than $20, but here's what I would do. I would buy that ticket. I would have it at my house. I would invite many of my new distributors over. I'll make it fun. I'll make it festive. We'll have some, maybe some pizza or whatever it is. And you got the fat fighters. Pizza's fine. I would make it something festive. I'll have my new distributors, my older business partners. I'll have them all in there. Maybe even some of our loyal customers. I'll invite them over to my home or maybe to a hotel or some location. And guess what? I have that Austin event playing on the Jumbotron. Why? Because me and my team, we need to get plugged in. We need to recharge. We need to know how to sow in the summer. See, ladies and gentlemen, I can tell you that attending a major event, there's nothing that impacts your belief than changing your environment. There's nothing that can impact your belief like plugging into an environment that is infectious and contagious for you to be poured into. Write this down. During the summer months, you've got to raise your bar. Many of you right now, you've hit the bar. You've hit the bar, you've hit the ceiling, you've hit the wall in your business. Your current belief won't let you bypass Ruby. Your current belief system won't allow you to advance past Emerald. Your current set of beliefs has not allowed you to advance, watch this, past Diamond and Double Diamond and Triple Diamond and Presidential Diamond. Your current belief won't allow you to raise the bar, but here's how you do it. The B stands for belief. We've got to raise your belief. How do you raise your belief? An environment. I was sharing with one of our partners last week. The number one cause for failure in our business to leaders is the loss of belief. You've got to plug. There's nothing like, I love social media, I love technology, and I embrace them all. We use the high tech to get into high touch. There's nothing like being in an environment full of believers. There's nothing like it. That's why, you know, in the church community, they always get together for worship. They get together for worship on Wednesday. Some people skip Bible study, so they'll have they'll have a service on Sunday. And guess what? Some people skip out on Sunday. So it's okay. This is what we're going to do. We're going to put on a major event. We're going to title it Revival. And they get more people there. Why? Because what they're attempting to do, watch this, is get you to raise your bar, your belief. Get you to mature in your belief. Get you to mature in your belief. See, your immaturity of belief causes you to stay stagnant. A business that is stagnant is indicative of a leader whose belief is stagnant. A business that is stagnant is indicative of a leader's belief who is stagnant. And guess what? There's nothing wrong with that. We have all been there before. I'm sharing with you how and why to change the course of your business. You want to change your business, change your belief. Get together, put that together. Austin, that's this weekend. You want to be doing that. You want to, the month of May, closing out the month of May, going into June, I want you saturating your spirit, saturating your soul, watch this, with belief. Environment, words, images, repetition or repetitious information. What you're hearing over and over and over and over and over. And you've got to watch what you're saying. You've got to watch what you're saying. Oh, my business isn't working. Oh, my business is going down. Oh, man, you know, people aren't joining. Or, man, you know, the products aren't working for me. Or, we're always on back order. Or, I don't see any people that look like me at the top of the company. Words. You got to change your words. Guys, I'm telling you, you can work as hard as you want to work. You could go show the plan 100 times today. You can go prospect 300 people tomorrow. But until you get your belief right, it is the belief that causes the breakthrough. Write that down. My belief causes my breakthrough. My belief, not my skill set, not my talent, not my oratory abilities, not my hookups, not the connections, not who I'm brown nosing, not who I'm kissing up to. It is my belief. The belief causes the breakthrough. So I'm attempting to help you understand, and how you're going to do this is getting plugged in. Timothy says, forsake not the assembly of believers. Forsake not the assembly. We've got to assemble. You've got to assemble. Many of you, you haven't been to a major event since January when we had our conference, our international conference in Tampa, Florida. Some of you, you've had a few events. I know we've done some local events and things like that. That's great. But I'm talking about major events cause major breakthroughs. Major breakthroughs happen at major events. major breakthroughs happen at major events. It's not about how many times you're showing and playing. You know we're showing and playing at least 4 times a week. See, the how-to stuff is good. It's good for you to know it. But I'm telling you, once you get that belief right and you get the why-to right, I promise you, the right people they just show up. Having a meeting last week with a gentleman. Having this meeting, Wayman, with this gentleman. He's been in direct sales. Let me kind of see, for me, I'm always looking for ways to impact and grow my belief. Having this meeting, Nina. Nina, are you on here? I think I saw her earlier. Let me go through my screen. I see some of you on here. We're getting ready to close. I told you it won't be a long call. Anita, are you listening to me? But I was having this meeting because I'm constantly connecting. I'm constantly talking with people. Why? Because I've got to impact my belief. I don't allow what I see to cause me to forfeit what I've heard. Having this meeting with this guy. And we're sitting there and we're talking over breakfast. He's in another company. He's been in that company 17 months. Been in network marketing. He's not a network marketer. He was a fitness guy. Been in network marketing as a professional 3 years. He was with one company prior to the company he's with. One. With that company, was working, showing a plan, tapped into his fitness audience, talked to his people, talked to his warm market, and guess what? Had some success. Some things started to take place with that company, just some infringement of his beliefs and integrity challenges, as he put it, and he decided to make a move, made a transition, got started with another company, the company he's with now. Been with the company 17 months. So watch this. I said, what's your strategy for success? Because I took the meeting because he was pleasant. We were connecting and we connected via social media. Remember, I told you I love social media. And I took the meeting for breakfast and I told him, before we meet for breakfast, bro, I got to let you know, number one, I'm not open. I'm not interested. And I'm not recruitable. Okay, I'm not open. I'm not interested. I'm not recruitable. Leave your magazines and your supplements and your samples at home. Just, I don't need to try no product. I don't need to see your magazine. I just want to connect with you. Why, Jared? Because in 17 months, his business is doing $2 million a month in volume. I said, yeah, I want to take the meeting. I want to be in the essence and the environment and be around somebody that in 17 months is at $2 million a month in volume. We at 8 months, and I'm projecting where we're going to be, in the next 8 months as a team. It's good. Listen, the fastest way to get to your future, write this down. Don't you ever forget this. The fastest way to get to your future, hang around it. Shucks. Did you hear me? If you just catch what I just said, it's game over. The fastest way to get to your future is hang around it. Somebody that's further along in the process than me, let me get around you because it demystifies success. So I'm having this meeting. We having pancakes and eggs. And yeah, having pancakes and eggs, I'm a pescatarian. Well, I was a pescatarian. Anyway, that's a whole different story. And so we start talking and they ambush me. He calls a partner of his over, to the meeting, and we're sitting down having breakfast. He says, I got a friend of mine coming to join us for the meeting. I said, oh, that's wonderful. That's beautiful. I'm not open. I'm not interested. And I'm not recruitable. Oh, no, she's going to be fine. She's one of my up and coming leaders. And, I just wanted her. She's around here. I'm driving an hour and a half to come meet with you. She's around this area. I invited her to have the meeting or come to our sit down. Do you mind? No problem. Cool. Fine. Wonderful. So we sit down and I said, what's your strategy? He says, I love on people. That's my strategy. I love people. I said, that's good. That's beautiful. I love it. I love people too, but sometimes they get on my nerves. Let's dig deeper. Let me find out. What is it that you're doing? What are you believing? Why is this growing to the tune of $2 million a month in volume for you in 17 months, and you've never had big success before? Never made $10,000 a month? before network marketing. He never even made over $5,000 a month before in network marketing. He is not, by many people's standards or definition, a big network marketer. I'm going somewhere with this. We're talking about sowing in the summer. We're talking about not allowing what you see cause you to forfeit what you've heard. The old saints would say, whose report will you believe? Some of you looking at your back office report. That ain't the report I'm looking at. All right. So I'm sitting down and he says, I love on people. I said, that's great. That's wonderful. He says, I said, let's dig deeper. Where did you find your top 3 leaders? That was my question. Where'd you find them? He said, well, it's interesting you asked. Nobody's ever asked me that before. I said, I know you're dealing with a real one right now. I know how to ask the right questions. Tony Robbins says, if you ask enough of the right questions, you'll get enough of the right answers. Here's what he told me. He said, I had a friend that I met in a previous business. We weren't in each other's team. He was cross-line for me. And at his peak in that company, he was doing about $100,000 a month in volume, making about $10,000 a month in income. He lives right here in Houston. I said, oh, good. I said, so what was the process of you recruiting him? He's your number one guy? He said, yeah, he's my number one earner. He's my number one producer. I said, so what was the story? How did you prosper? How did you expose him to your business? He said, well, what happened was his business went down because of Hurricane Harvey. His team was decimated. He went from $100,000 a month in volume down to $20,000 a month in volume, from a $10,000 a month check down to below $2,000 a month. And he lost interest, lost focus. He had to go get a job working construction and doing roofing. Says, I stopped by one of his sites after I called him and told him I would like for him to sample some of my products. Uh-oh. Write it down. He called him. Somebody he knew. Remember, we talk about list building, right? Talk about list building. It's always, see, if you do what you're supposed to do, God will do what he has promised he'll do. If you let go of, write it down, you let go of what's in your hand, heaven will let go of what's in its hand. Says, I called him, I told him I want to give him a sample. Do we have samples of product? Do you have some samples? See, you can't give what you don't have. He says he went out there, gave him a sample of the product. God tells him, hey, I'm not interested in network marketing. I'm not interested in doing that again. I've already done it before. We built it. It didn't work. I'm focused on my, that's fine. Just try my sample. Let me know what you think of the product. He says he left the samples with him. About an hour later, gets a phone call. Bro, I love this product. It's done this, this, and this for me. I need some more of the product. How do I sign up and be a customer at least? I got a couple of people that I want to try the product too. And says, no problem. Stops by, gets him enrolled. And unbeknownst to him, he didn't even look up anymore. That guy started enrolling a few people. Start talking to a few of his friends. Start talking to a few of his buddies. And then she got started, and then he got started. And fast forward the tape. That one sample has turned into over $1.5 million a month in volume. Write this down, please. Never forget it. You're always one person away from a major explosion happening in your business. You're only one person away from a major explosion. Would you put that on social media? Let me put it up there too. I am one person away. Oh God, I hear you. Woo! I'm putting it in all caps. I don't know about you. Let me pause for station identification. Everybody, get on Facebook right now. I need you to tag it. I am one person away from a massive explosion happening in my business. You don't have what I say, you have what you say. I'm one person away from having a massive explosion happening in my business. I am one person away from having, I am one person away from having, I ain't even spell it right. Let me spell it right. I'm sorry. I just got happy. From having, there it is. happening in my business. One team, one dream. I'm writing this down right now, guys. You ought to be writing it. One team, one dream, 100 million. Oh, yeah. One team, one mission. I'm sorry. Thank you, baby. One team, one mission, 100 million. Would you post that right now? Stand in faith with me during the sowing season of summer. Those of us sowing in summer, would you post that real quick? I just put it up. Look. Woo, that's strong right there. That's strong right there. I am one person away. Hallelujah. That's good. See, some of you, I know, see, here's the deal. Some of you think it sounds esoteric. It's one of those, blah, blah. Okay, no problem. I'm telling you right now how things happen. They happen through words. The world is created through words. You don't think you can create $100 million business with your words? Watch what happens. All right, so that one person, and here's what I told him. Here's what I told my friend. I said, Ricky, listen to me. Listen to me. I said, that is nothing but the grace of God. That's all that is. He said, yeah. I said, no, let me help you. And then I went into ministry. I said, you and I are sitting in a restaurant. And his business partner was sitting next to him. She was like, yeah, we're doing okay. We've been in the business 5 months. We're only making $12,000 a month. I said, first of all, don't you ever say only. I told her, I said, gratitude is the seed for more. Did you hear me? You got to be grateful for the 1,200. You got to be grateful for the 120. You got to be grateful for the 12,000. Be grateful for what you have, because gratitude is the seed for more. The challenge with you is you've got an attitude, but you don't have gratitude. Oh, it was only $200. Oh, it was only $500. See, anytime you're ungrateful, God removes it. Every time you're ungrateful, he removes it. Oh, let me give it to somebody else that knows how to be grateful for what I've given. I told him, I said, Ricky, what you just described to me was the grace of God. Prove it. I said, there are 200 plus people in this restaurant right now. You can go prospect all 200 of them and enroll all 200 of them in your business. And you have a less than 1% guarantee that all of them collectively, 17 months from now, will be generating $1.5 million a month in volume. I said, but you having a conversation with one man, with one woman, with one person, and the grace of God, because you got the right posture. You can't lift heavy weights with the wrong posture. You begin hurting yourself. And some of us, if you're not careful during this season, you're going to rupture something because you're not in the right posture to lift. And so I'm telling you right now, ladies and gentlemen, you ought to have that as your declaration. Remember, I told you got to get plugged in, get plugged into this event. Get plugged into this event in Austin. I know in Philadelphia, I'm going to bring on Nina Moore in a second, because I know in June there's going to be another major event happening in June right there in Philadelphia. Right now in the season of summer, I want you sowing belief. I want you working on that belief muscle. I want you working on that belief muscle, building that muscle, because you're one person away. One person. I don't care if you got to talk to 100. I don't care if I got to talk to 1,000. If it takes me talking to 10,000 people over the next 3 years, through the grace of God, we will find that one that brings in a massive explosion. Because 2 is the first number that can be multiplied. 2 is the first number that can be multiplied. All right, folks, let me bring on Nina Moore, Presidential Diamond. Let me unmute you. Any of our other double diamonds and above, raise your hand if you're in queue, and I'll unmute you for some closing comments as we get ready for the family call starting in the next 15 minutes. But Mrs. Nina Moore, Presidential Diamond, I'm going to turn the call over to you for any closing comments. I want you to make announcements also about the event taking place with, I'll let you tee it up, talk about the event taking place in June.
Well, I don't know. I gotta first talk about what we just talked about tonight. On tonight, I want to
Yes.
thank you, Mr. Wilkins. I know that when I called you earlier, I could see that you were in the midst of creating your content for this training, and I just want to thank you because it was so needed. It was so needed for everybody, and I think when I think about boxers, Mr. Wilkins, and I think about how they gotta come out to their corner. Because they need the ice on their face, and they need they need to take their mouth guard out, and they need the rep to kind of tell them, their coach to tell them, hey, you're dropping that right, you're dropping that right, you're dropping that left. And so thank you for taking the time out to show us that we've been dropping our right, and we're not bobbing and weaving enough, and we're not ducking our heads, we're not holding our hands up, and so it's like the temperature check. And one thing that I asked myself, and I've been pretty consistent, even with life happening to me, even with things in my health, and with all those things. But the one thing that I did for myself last week, Mr. Wilkins, is I looked in the mirror and I asked myself, have I done all that I can do? And my answer was no. A great mentor of mine said to me once, if you take one day off, it could cost you a week of pay. He said, if you take 1 week off, it could cost you a month of pay. If you take 1 month off, it could cost you a year in pay when it comes to network marketing. And so I would just love for us to all raise our bar, raise our own standard for ourselves, not what you think Nina Moore wants from you, not what you think Mr. Wilkins and Portia Wilkins want from you, not what you think, Rashid Coleman and Wayman and Bridget and Tammy and Tracy Hooks and Lynn Starks and Joseph Newman, not what, you think we want from you, but raise our own standards and realize that money does answer all things. And if we stay focused and remain focused on our goal, then guess what? Because money answers all things, at the end of this, even with life happening, even with health scares, even with people acting crazy, even when the enemy comes in like a flood in your home, against your children, against your spouse, whatever the case may be, against our bodies, then we'll have enough to fight the good fight. And so thank you all for not thinking it was robbery to take you away from your cookouts to get on this training. I so needed it for myself. Let's mark down the calendar. Monday, June 10th. We will be at 3940 West Girard Avenue. But then Saturday, June 22nd, the queen herself, the queen of It Works, Pam Souter. And I'm going to tell you something. Pam Souter is the truth, is the real deal Holyfield. Don't forget, every rep must register for $20. We're not passing out guest passes to reps. Every rep must register for $20. Once you register, those tickets are being printed out for guests only. Every rep, it's $20 now. The price will go up to $30 the day of the event. So don't wait to the last minute. Get your tickets. Matter of fact, I think the day before, we're taking that price up to $30. We're going to pack the room out. I promise you. I promise you, there are people all over It Works that are coming down from Connecticut, coming down from upstate New York, coming down from Pittsburgh, coming down from Ohio, coming in from Indiana, coming up from Miami, coming up from Maryland, coming up from Virginia to be here to see the queen herself. So let's get our, I'm willing to even do a watch party for June the 2nd for the Austin event. We've got June the 10th, Monday, June the 10th. I know we've got a walk exercise in the morning in New Jersey. We've got another walk coming up. There's another Jersey meeting coming up, you guys. We've got the exposures for you. Make sure we're getting plugged in, because as long as we get plugged in, we stay charged. All right, I love you all.
All right, appreciate that. I want to turn it over. I saw Triple Diamond Rashid Coleman. Big Sheet, are you out there?
I'm here, brother. Can you hear me?
Oh, loud and clear, brother. Go ahead and take it away. I'll turn it over to you for some comments.
Awesome. I just wanted to thank you for sharing all of the nuggets, the wisdom, the object lessons. They're all extremely valuable. We truly appreciate you for taking the time. I just wanted to say this very candidly and directly to everybody that's on the line. Don't panic. Don't panic. The worst thing you can do in the midst of challenge is panic. And I learned an interesting fact about rattlesnake bites. I know you might think this is like a total waste of time, but I promise you it'll make sense in a minute. You know, rattlesnake bites are extremely deadly, but most people that get bitten by a rattlesnake don't die from the rattlesnake bite. They die from what they do as they panic once they've been bitten. And so I just want everybody to understand business has seasons, okay? And we do not control those seasons. All we can do is control how we make ourselves ready for the seasons we're aware of, how we respond in the seasons as they happen, and then how we prepare to handle the next ramp up, the next evolution in business. So we ought to be sowing seeds in this summer. We ought to be preparing and strategizing for our next calculated move. But if you panic, you may do like many people do, and this is factual, from a rattlesnake bite. You can fall off a cliff. You can run into a tree. You can run, speed the blood flow in your body up and spread that venom throughout your body faster. So don't panic. You know, there's nothing wrong. These are the natural flows and ebbs of business. Stay the course and stay tuned in with what you heard. As our amazing presidential diamond has already said, if you've already received a promise, then you need to know the promise must come to pass, because God won't be a lie. All right. I hope that helps. God bless everybody. Let's keep running and run through the tape until you realize the goal you began on. I'll turn it back over to you, Mr. Presidential.
Absolutely, sir. I appreciate that. And you're so right. The seasons change. Summer always comes. Winter always comes. Spring always comes. Fall always comes. And you just have to stay in the right posture and be prepared for each one of those seasons. Now, you know what's so funny? No matter what season you're in, people always complain. In the summer, oh, it's too hot. When winter comes, oh, it's too cold. When it's spring, oh, what's going on with all this pollen? When it's fall, oh, I got to rake up all these leaves. People are always complaining no matter the season. But guess what? When you're mature and you've got experience and you've gone through the seasons, you just know how to be prepared. In the summer, baby, I put on some shorts. That's why I put on some shorts. In the winter, I just put on my winter coat while I'm prepared for the season. So ladies and gentlemen, let's rock and roll. Proud of each and every one of you. I know we've probably got some more diamonds and above on here, but let's close out the month of May with an absolute bang. It's going to be absolutely incredible. Appreciate everybody's time and attention. Getting ready for the 9 o'clock or the 10 o'clock Family It Works call on Mark Pentecost page. So talk to you guys soon. Put up that post. I am one person. Man, that's so good right there. Woo! I am one person away from a massive explosion happening in my business. If you receive it, go post it. God bless you. God bless your families. And God most certainly bless your dreams. Good night, everybody.